Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Talks. Now, we're experimenting a little bit with background and green screen and all that fun stuff. So I apologize for some of the transdimensionaliness. And I got my tech guy in the back doing some mocking job.
Yeah, it's very mocking.
But all right, thank you. Thank you, Tech Help. Anyways, that was Dennis of Theater Genesis, and it's a film and studio production. Well, short film and studio production, but you'll be seeing some more of their stuff on here probably later on this year. Anyway, so I digress. Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Talks, brought to you by Des Moines New Age Shop. I'm Alicia, and I am your host today. Now, we are talking about soul contracts. How do I put this? There are multiple types, but the couple I'm going to cover today, and I do apologize about the sunglasses. No, it's not just to look cool. My eyes are literally killing me. I think it's all the pollen. Woo. Anyway, I'm going to cover the more colloquially known one first, soul contract. So that's a contract with an elemental, negative entity, deity, or human spirit masquerading as any of these, because just because they're dead or just because they're on the other side doesn't mean they don't lie. Actually, they lie a lot, and there's almost no truth to them. So first of all, you got to ascertain, am I actually making a contract with XYZ? So let's say Hades comes to you and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right at all. And you go on, you drag it out. And that's one thing. Most of these entities, they don't wait around very much. They're pretty in your face, boom, done, gone. But so soul contracts. Don't make them ever. Do not offer to sell yourself, anybody else, a part of anybody's life force, psychic gifts, because yes, you will get asked. Do not ever make a bargain with anything. I can't tell you what to do, but this is my advice. Simply because, one, there is absolutely nothing that they can get you that you cannot get yourself. Believe in that. Have faith in it. If you don't believe in it, believe that I believe in it for you. Okay? If you can't have faith in yourself, believe in me that believes in you. Number two, here's the biggest one. You will always get boned. It doesn't matter how good you think you are. It doesn't matter how smart you think you are. It doesn't matter how amazing you think you are or how much power you think you have. These things have been around for God knows how long. And anytime you go to make a contract or a deal, whether it's actually selling your soul, which really, yeah, anyway, or, selling off years of your life, parts of your psychic gift, promising to work in service for something, promising to do something or hex someone for this entity or whatever, they don't care about you. They never will. It's all about them. Now, I will say when working with some deities and some elementals, things like that, you can work with them, but never for them. As far as making deals, there are people that actually dedicate their life to different deities and everything like that. That's a completely different ball of wax. So just let me clear that up right away. But actually going to something and going, hey, XYZ, I'm in love with XYZ, and I need you to make that person love me, boom, boom, boom. And I will give you my eternal soul. That's never going to work. Because they will always, always, always win, and you will always lose. Simply because, one, they have nothing to lose, and you have everything to lose. So, soul contracts with entities, no, never a good idea. Now, I understand sometimes, your kid's sick, your kid's dying, your dad's dying. I get it. I 100% get it. And the reason I'm bringing this up, it was originally just going to be on the higher self soul contracts, but more and more I'm getting people coming in talking to me about this stuff. And I at first thought they were joking. I thought they were trying to be funny. So I was like, yeah, you're not kidding. Okay, well, okay then. So we're going to cover it. I understand if your kid is really sick, I get it. 100% I get it. And that we all have a weakness. We all have a weak spot. But if you're going to do it, make sure you're going to get boned in the end. or in the middle and end, whatever. So, and also the person that you're calling for the help for, they're probably going to get boned too. That's the problem with any entity, elemental, demon, yokai, human spirit that's masquerading as something else that's amassed enough power over a couple of eons to be believable. Anything. You are always going to get boned forever. That's the way of things. Do I believe soul contracts are forever when you make them with an outside entity? Actually, no, I don't. Simply because I just, I don't believe that. But then again, I don't know personally. Now, I have offered things to deities in return for different favors. That's different. Making an offering for something or trading something. And that's the thing. Deities, that's one thing. You've got to make sure when you're asking a deity for help, one, make sure you know what you're going into with that deity. Do not just look at the light sides of the deity. Look at everything, the dark, the light, the nasty, the good, all of it. But when you make that offering, you make sure that you have something to offer. Like, okay, do you want me to write an article about you? Do you want me to paint a picture of you? Will painting a picture of you be enough to get this? And they'll give you a yes or no on what you're asking. I remember one deity, I had a friend, she was in some serious supernatural stuff. And it was stuff that was way above my pay grade. I don't generally work with deity, but there have been times, dire emergencies when I had to. And because mostly I'm of the opinion, I do for myself. Okay. Seriously. I was raised with that opinion, and that's pretty much what I do. But if it's dire enough, I will go and I will beseech, I will ask whatever you want to say. And I asked on her behalf, and I was like, what do you want? And that was the first thing I wanted to get out of the way, because it's always a trade. It's always a trade. You always have to trade something, whether it's a coin, a flower, something there's always a trade, one for one. And, this particular deity was like, okay, so you want me to get this monkey off her back. All right, well, I'll do it for a 6-pack of beer. Any particular kind of beer? Bud Light. Really? Okay, fine. Budweiser. Cool. So got the deity, 6-pack Budweiser, and he helped my friend, and he took that supernatural entity off of her and got rid of it for a 6-pack of beer. Just poured it out in a cemetery somewhere where he asked me to pour it. And that's the thing, that's different. That was a 6-pack of beer. I actually went, I didn't go to, I was checking with a couple of deities, and one was like, well, we need part of your child's psychic gifts. And I'm like, no. And I checked around, and of course I found a better offer. And that deity was actually not one of the ones you would think would pull that. So just a heads up, that's an analogy. But always make sure of the price beforehand. Make sure it's something you can pay. Never give of yourself, your family, your offspring. Never promise that, you can have the soul of my 6th generation removed descendant. Because guess what? That's still a person. So soul contracts, any kind of contract, don't do it, because you're going to get boned no matter what. The person you're helping, if you're trying to help somebody, is going to get boned. And you have a lot more to lose than they do. Plus, you also have to make sure it's not something masquerading as what you're making the contract with. So, and then also, just don't do it, because they can't get you anything you can't get yourself, with a lot more reliability and stability. Okay, so colloquially known soul contracts out of the way. Now, more to the body and the meat of the discussion. And I'm not going to take up a lot of you guys' time tonight. That's not what I'm here to do. The Tuesday night talks, unless it's an interview, are very much just a quick blurb. They kind of go hand in hand with the articles I write for my blog on DesMoinesNewAge.com, which I'm currently attempting to separate out from the events and updates, because, having to rebuild the website is just crazy. Anyway, soul contracts. So soul contracts are the contracts that, this is the metaphysical version. Soul contracts are the contracts made between spirits. So let's say my husband Dennis and I, before we incarnated, we wrote up a contract or made an agreement, however we did it, and we said we are going to stick with each other through a certain set of lessons and teach each other a certain set of lessons in this incarnation lifetime. And oh, hey Sabrina, good to see you, babe. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Anyway, and again, I'm sorry, my eyes are killing me, so yeah. But so soul contracts, they are what you make prior to incarnation. The other type of soul contract is what you make with your higher self. Now that's the theory is that you have one very large, very advanced soul self, and it just kind of pulls pieces of itself off and sends them down to live different lives, learn different lessons, and pull that knowledge in. Which, by the way, I really do need to have a talk with my higher self. She is such a dick. Anyway, but I digress. No, the thing is, when you make a contract with your higher self, it is to learn different lessons, learn different things, things that you need to learn to grow and evolve as a soul. When you make it with another soul, it's so as you guys can be co-teachers. So let's say a guy drives in front of you, cuts you off in traffic, and you're like, what the hell? And you just can't quit thinking about it. He probably, that's a flash in the pan contract. He probably contracted with you to teach you whatever you're learning, whether it's anger, control, not to be reckless, however it is, but he's teaching you a very visceral lesson. Here and now, physical lesson that you can take back up. This is a lot of the reason why when people say, I want a soulmate or I want a twin flame, I'm like, no, baby, no, you don't. Soulmates are actually teachers, and twin flames they're supposed to be yourself, your other self, another part of you that's actually meeting up with you. Twin flame, at least with the romantic relationships, they burn hot, they burn fast, and they are incredibly destructive. They're like a wildfire. Now, when you have a twin flame that comes to you in the form of a friend, a family member, something like that, that's a little bit different. It's still pretty wildfiery. It can be very tumultuous, but it's basically you teaching yourself and vice versa, which I know for me, wow, yeah, no, oof. I'm a difficult person. Soulmates, they are teachers. Okay, so your first soulmates are going to be your parents. They're going to teach you what you need to know, whether it was your father who nurtured you and cared for you and taught you how to be the best version of yourself in this incarnation, or if your father was mediocre, or if he had addiction, or if he was absent. It taught you the feeling of being abandoned and how to strive to overcome that and how it feels so you don't do it to somebody else. And there could be a whole slew of lessons. I'm doing a broad range there. Soulmates, twin flames, soul contracts, all kinds of whirls around to the same thing. Now, with soul contracts, there have been Becca X. Ooh, hi, Becca. I definitely had one of those a few days ago. Flash in the pan soul contract for sure. Woof! Well, Becca, go you, girl. But woof, rough. My condolences, but good job on passing the test. Now, there are a couple of different theories on soul contracts. My personal belief is that it's just between souls or between you and your higher self. Some people have bandied about the theory that it is, how do I put this? It is overseen by some universal force or entity to make sure you keep your end of the contract. I don't believe that, because once you get out there, it's like, look, we contracted to do this stuff. Let's just get it done. But everybody's different. So believe what you will. When we get out there, you guys can phone me up and be like, hey, so this is what actually happened. Remember my number. But with the world today, we're seeing a lot of soul contracts ending simply because we're having those energy shifts, okay? And there's a lot of releasing and letting go. And one of the things about soul contracts, when we're in the throes of a long-term soul contract, we forget that it's about the lesson and not about the person. The person is just the vehicle. They're the instrument, the tool, if you will, to teach you. I'm not saying they're not human. I'm not saying they're not wonderful, warm, fuzzy, all that other stuff. But I am saying don't confuse the person with the lesson. A lot of soul contracts are ending right now, and that's causing a lot of pain worldwide. The eclipse season did not help us at all on that. Well, okay, it did, but it didn't help the feelings about it. A lot of people are choosing to stay stuck in that very fear-based energy, that just very negative, toxic vibration. And it's not their fault. They're not bad people. That's just what they know, and they don't know how to get out of it. Or at least they're running so hard, they just don't think about it. And then there are other souls that are like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done with this section. I need to move on to the next class. And that the next lesson plan, next community college, whatever you want to call it. And there's a lot of separations going on. And it's not just between people. It can even be separations from areas you're living in, or businesses, or anything. Things are just going their own way, and that is causing insane amounts of upheaval. I do believe it'll all be for the good in the end, but it's rough right now. So if you ever feel, and I say this at my own risk, I say this at my own peril, if you ever feel like you're just done in your heart, you're just done. It's time to go. It's time to end. But you gotta search yourself, and it's gotta feel right in here. That's when it's time to go, and it's gonna cause a lot of problems and a lot of pain. But it's better than staying stuck and repeating the same lesson over and over and over and over. Hold on. Eowyn, great assertion. The pandemic was a huge trauma that affected literally every person on the earth deeply, in my opinion. Yeah, no, it was. Oh, don't get me started on the pandemic. I can't get started on that. We will be here all night. Anyway, basically, hold on. And my tea is dripping. Okay, here we go. Boop. There we go. I have a pot holder. But one of the things I always get asked, what happens if a soul contract is ended prematurely? Like, let's say two parties were set to be, best friends, and teach each other for the long haul, and one just can't take it anymore, and they end their life, or they die tragically, suddenly in a car accident, or something like that. Most things are predestined, I do feel. There's always a bit of free will and free choice, but there's a lot of predestination. But on the off chance that with free will, Joe Blow decides to drive at 80 miles an hour down a dark road and smacks into your friend, and they die because your friend chose to go out for a walk that night. What happens? Most people say the contract is dissolved, da-da-da-da-da. I don't feel that is logical, sensical, or anything else. The one thing I do think can be done is that you can contract with another soul to come in and fulfill that contract for you. But what I actually think happens, what I would lay my bets on, is the theory that next incarnation, you just skip that class till your next time. And then you and that person will fulfill the contract and fill it out. Now, it can go, of course, okay, there are different theories on this. Some say no, but I have seen through my client base and through the readings that I do, it can go through multiple lifetimes. You guys can be contracted through multiple lifetimes, which now that can get pretty interesting, teaching each other lessons back and forth. I know a couple of souls in my circle. Apparently, we're not going to get our lessons done in this lifetime together, so it's going to forward on to the next one, which I'm kind of trepidatious about that. I think I'm using that word correctly. Also hella tired. My kid got into something horrible in the yard, and he broke out in just itchy red bumps, rashy and hivey. Poor kid. Woo, he has been up and down more than usual. If I thought he was a little insomniac bear at night before, this is way worse. Good thing I'm a night owl, right? Anyway, but the kid, we've got some steroid cream from the doctor to put on him and everything like that, so he's doing better. Benadryl, steroid cream, awesome stuff. Great modern marvels. Anyway, but back to the subject. I'm going to take a look at my notes really, really fast. Or how do you know what your soul contract is? That's another good one. You want to take now. This is more for your higher self one. The one basically the contract saying what you came to this incarnation, to this earth, this time, this planet, whatever, what you came in for. And what you want to do is look back on your life. You look back through your life. You notice the patterns. You notice the lessons that keep repeating, the situations that keep happening. You keep putting yourself in, or you keep getting put in. And then you also want to take a look at your judgment, what you've been doing, and what feels right, what feels good deep down in your soul. And I know for most of us, we're so busy running, and everything's just a blur. But take time to sit down, meditate with a piece of white selenite to clear off all that excess energy that's just, painting all over you every day from everybody else. Sit there and think about, what are you truly called to do? What is your calling? The other thing you can do, and this is something I like to do, you look at your north and south node, okay? And they're always precisely the opposite signs. So the one down here, your south node, that's what you came into this life knowing. You already knew that. You've got that down. And you're also going to fall back into that. Anytime you're stressed, anytime you're unsure, that's what you're going to drop back into, that way of being. Or at least that's what I've seen from everybody I've read the charts of and everything like that. Now, this one up here, your north node, that's what you came in to figure out. That's what you came in to know about. Sorry, my husband's phone's plugged in over here and he keeps getting alerts. It's very distracting. I'm just going to turn that around. So your north node, I'll give you an example. I'll tell you mine. So my south node is Capricorn. That's hard work, ambition, drive, control over chaos, delegation, everything like that. Leading. Also kind of people managing, maybe a little manipulation sometimes. My north node, okay, so south node Capricorn, north node is Cancer. And Cancer is all about nurturing, home, family, emotions, community. And I run a New Age shop, community center, and it's also about using your intuition, which all of these things. And, I came out with being an empath, and I've worked on it over the years because, man, that is a gift I wish I had a return receipt for, because, wow, I would have returned it. But I also understand now some of the reasons why I have it and the lessons that it is teaching me. My son has been he's been a great big exclamation point to that. But, and it's really good, because a lot of the times when he was nonverbal, I could actually pick up what was going on with him, and I could speak, or I could ask him and I could get it out of him. And now he's, we're more on the level of that. But it does suck to not know if the feelings are your own or someone else's. That's a little bit of a rough gig about being an empath. And I don't, there are a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm an empath. It's like, no, baby. If you were a real empath, you'd be like, I can't believe I'm an empath. Why? Because it's a crazy train. But it is good, because once you go further down the empath line, you can actually learn to transmute energy. You can change the energy of a room. You can forestall fights before they happen. There's a lot of really interesting stuff the further down the road you get with it. And I'm not anywhere near the end of the road. I can only give you advice on what I've been through. And that's going to be one of the Tuesday night talks at some point. Just not yet. I have to actually write an article on it and organize my thoughts a little bit better. But I digress way off topic. Back to soul contracts. With soul contracts, let's see, where were we? Yep. North and South Node. So as you can see, Capricorn, I am a workaholic by nature. I love it. I always go back to it. I always drop back into that. And, you know, my son has been a big help in getting me out of it. He's my little baby Pisces. And so he's like, nope, nope, nope. And then the Cancer, what I'm supposed to be learning, which is, you know, I mean, I love my family and I've worked very, very, very hard to do a lot to keep my family together. And, you know, I've worked hard for my son and everything else. And I've worked hard to be where I'm at today. Hold on just one second here. Capricorn, whoop, whoop. Thank you, Ewan. And you're a huge inspiration for me to keep traveling down my path. Don't ever stop doing your thing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And you're an inspiration to me by saying that, babe. Anyways, and I'm going to close out here soon. But thank you, Ewan. Or it's this, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's the sign. Oh, yeah. Arthur and I have to sit down and re-go over our sign language because we stopped using it as it's gotten more verbal. But with that, you just want to take a look at what you have been doing, the situations you find yourself in repetitively, and where your heart is calling you. And then sometimes check into astrology. I would prefer to be a workaholic. I would prefer to just stay working and probably until I drop. But what I'm supposed to be here learning is how to interact with a family, use my intuition, bring community together, be a part of community, and, you know, be a part of a family. And that's the good and the bad, you know, and Cancer is the ultimate mother. It's the ultimate mother energy. You know, Capricorn's the ultimate father energy, but Cancer is your ultimate mother energy. And that's something I have to learn, which is really interesting because it was actually my dad who taught me more of that maternal side. He was very, even though, and oddly enough, my dad is a Capricorn, but even though he had all that, he still had that nurturing in him. And he had enough wherewithal to sit down and say, okay, I get what you're doing and I get why. We have to stop. These are going to be the consequences if you follow down this road. Now, above and beyond consequences, think about what you're doing. You know, is this something you want to do to yourself? Is this a path you really want to go down? You know, and he was always filled with that stuff of really think your life through, really think your decisions, your actions. And, you know, yeah, he'd yell or something like that, but he also had the other side where he would sit down and say, okay, baby, I know you want to go down this path, but you need to slow up, stop, really think about what you're doing. You know, because now look down the road and extrapolate where you're going from where you're headed, you know, where you're actually headed. And it actually saved me from a lot of bad stuff, you know, a lot of bad choices, because I really, really, really thought about things. I was cautious. I was careful. I am a Taurus by nature. I am Taurus sun sign. But that, you know, as a Taurus, you kind of just, you get to going and you're just going and you got that tunnel vision going and you're just going to make it work no matter what. And Dad's sitting there going like, because see, Dad is also a yin sign in Chinese astrology. He is a sheep. I'm a dog, so I'm yang. Maybe not the yangiest of the yang signs, but yin and yang. Yin is the sit down, have a cup of tea, think about the world. Yang is go forward. You know, motion. My dad knew that about me too. He had an astrological workup done on me when I was born. And he's like, honey, I know you're going to be rebellious. So remember, there are people out there that would manipulate that rebellion, you know? And he's like, I know you're kind of going to want to move forward and ignore everything else, but you can't. So my dad had that more nurturing, calm, kind of flowy side to him over my mom. And he was the one who taught me to step back and look at my actions. Doesn't mean I do it every time, but I do try. Thanks, Dad. You're my homie. Hold on. Ewan. Every time I hear you talk about your dad, I want to meet him. I think you're right. Aw, thanks, Ewan. Tell him that when you do meet him. Oh, right. He's going to be at the June monthly psychic fair at the shop this Saturday coming up. And then let's see what else. And the Friday after this one, he's also going to be doing an online live spirit gallery. So basically a psychic medium group reading. And ticket prices are online. Anyway, but no, and I'm giving away a bunch of free tickets at his behest. Dad wanted to actually give away free tickets and freebies and stuff. He loves doing it. He actually really enjoys connecting with his clients and doing a lot of readings. Of course, he's also, I will quantify this, he's also crazy, but he's also pretty accurate. So yeah, he is nutty though. And he does swear. So just keep that in mind. Not one to have the kids watch. Oh my God, yes. Thank you. Okay. One more quick thing. Broken prematurely. What happens when they end? Soul contracts. Back on topic. Good Lord, I'm wandering tonight. Oh well. Anyway, what happens when they end? There are a lot of different theories about that. Some say the souls go their own separate ways. Some say they progress on to new lessons, if it's valuable. It's just, I would say it breaks down to what the situation calls for. I would say it's situationally variable, if that's a phrase, but it is. I just made it up. There you go. Will we keep the contract? I already covered that. Will we keep the contract in the next life if it's not fulfilled? Some say no. I say yes, absolutely, because you can't just skip out on a lesson plan. You have to have your lessons. And that is the other thing, in day-to-day, we have had spiritual stuff put on trend, put as a fad, a lot of it co-opted for a soundbite you can stick on a t-shirt, very much that toxic positivity, that spiritual snack food. But the thing is, spiritual lessons cannot be boiled down to a soundbite. This isn't something you just stick on the back of a t-shirt. And being spiritual, sometimes it's a rough road. Spiritual awakening, spiritual journey, spiritual growth. Don't ever let anybody shut you down with, well, you need to be white light and positive energy all the time. That's not what spirituality is about. Spirituality, one, it's for people who have already walked down a really rough road and are trying to grow from it and evolve and get better. And that whole be white light all the time, that doesn't help anybody, It's kind of like saying to somebody with depression, well, why don't you just feel better? Well, gee, God, I never thought of that. Wow, hold on, let me just flip that switch, You don't grow when you're being fake happy all the time and fake positive. There's a difference between learning to look for the silver lining and learning to see things in a more calm and detached light. Like, okay, so I'll give you an example. When my website went down at the shop, my old provider is just crazy anyway, but I lost my website. They're like, yeah, you can't ever get those files back. You were a legacy program, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God. But it drove me to get on a new website platform, and the universe even moved someone into my life to help me a little bit, to help me start, and then pulled that person away. So I would have to work on it all myself. Do I enjoy that? Absolutely not. But it's going to make it better for both me, for my clients, for everybody, and for all the people that are interested in learning. So that's kind of it. I don't like it. It's a miserable experience. I absolutely, I hate change, but, the thing is though, it was a good change, and I understand that. And I can view it from a more positive notion. Is it messy and sticky and yucky and a lot of hard work and trouble? Yes. Is it going to take a while to rebuild and get it right and get it set? Oh, yes. But it's ultimately for the better, and I can see that. That's detached growth. That's understanding the lesson that comes from it. Not like, oh, well, it's absolutely fine. I just love it. It's so awesome. Everything is awesome. No, that has nothing to do with spirituality. That's just somebody who's taken way too many uppers. No, I'm teasing. But it's, do not be fooled by soundbite spirituality or toxic positivity. Real spiritual lessons, real spiritual awakening, real spirituality can be downright heartbreaking at times. But you got to remember, it all comes back to what's for our highest good and our personal growth. And I'm not saying that there aren't problems. Yeah. Oh, whoop, hold on. Just got beep. Okay. Just like journaling for me. I get you 100%. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you. But it's always about growing and evolving on your journey. You don't want to stay stuck in the negative mindset, the depression, the entitlement, and the victim complex. That will kill anybody. That will kill relationships, friendships. That'll kill a good life. That'll kill spiritual awakening and journeying. That, like victimhood and entitlement, if I could erase one thing out of our society, that would be it. Victimhood, the victim complex, and entitlement. Those two things, get rid of them, and our society would be at least 65% better right off the go. But so you don't want to stay stuck in any one thing. You don't want to stay stuck in the positive, I'm happy all the time, or the negative, I'm depressed all the time. You want to grow on that journey and feel all the bumps and bruises along the way. And I am sorry to say, because I don't like it either, but it's what has to happen for growth, for true growth. Anyways, so if you have any questions, and I'm just going to run this back real quick. Okay, I've covered almost everything I wanted to on soul contracts. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Let me know in the comments. Anything, doesn't matter. I am more than happy to answer if I can. If I can't, I'll go find somebody. If I can't find anybody, well, I'll just tell you, nobody knows. Spirit knows. Hold on. Scars look cool. Thank you, Erwin. Yes, they do. Thank you. Erwin. I struggle to pronounce that name. Anyway, so I love you all. I said I didn't want to take up too much of your time, and unfortunately I'm 37 minutes in. But all right, I'm going to pop off of here. Love you all. If you have questions, leave them in the comments or message Des Moines New Age Shop if you want. Yeah, and remember, let's see. June monthly psychic fair this Saturday, 11 to 7. Tomorrow is Wednesday night deal dash, where I jump on for 60 minutes and chop a bunch of prices, and you guys got to PayPal me when I'm on and tell me what you got as well, just to be clear. And then Thursday night is the Psychic Roundtable, and that's our vendor meet and greet for some of the readers and psychics who can make it to the roundtable at night. That's going to be on Thursday. And I know that Destiny from Sunshine Oracle, Simone from Willow Tree Readings, and Angel Lynn should all be there. And it's pretty awesome because Angel Lynn is actually having eye surgery. So let's all send her some really positive energy. And Destiny, she's recovered from COVID. So let's send her some positive energy. And Simone, well, she's got a bunch of kids and works all the time. So she needs all the positive energy too. So yeah. All right, guys. Love you all. And I should be doing some more creative projects soon. And yeah. Oh, and the Psychic Roundtable, you can now find it on Spotify under the Psychic Roundtable. So like and subscribe. Ask me questions in the comments. Love to you all. And love you too. Thank you, Erwin. And love and healing all the way. Yes. Thank you. That's a great note to end on. Good night.